State of Alabama, the third time we've been to this state for the 2021 season. Started over at Pickwick, went to Neely Henry at the last stop, and legendary Lake Guntersville to end our southern swing, the 2021 Bassmaster Elite Series season. Last two events going to be up north, Such, and as we bring it into the Bassmaster Studio sponsored by Marathon, a lot of anglers said Guntersville was acting like a northern fishery with all of the grass and how clear it was this year. Not a bunch of rain recently, that grass filtering and clearing it up. A different Lake Guntersville, and we've seen a lot of different things play on day one of this event.
And they weren't sure exactly what stage the fish were in. They were all kind of mixed. It's a fishery in flux, Ronnie. There's some up shallow, there's some moving out, there's some out deep, but not big school. So figuring it out, they had to come up with a couple different ways to attack the fishery.
There's a couple things going on, like you said, some spawning fish that are ending their cycle there. We've got shad spawn, bluegill spawn, even early fish that are offshore into that post-spawn period, and we saw Chris Zaldane this morning, man, almost lost his rod. They were schooled up at the side of the boat, but he's been using a really big bait, and when you get around places like Lake Guntersville and other big bass factories that have gizzard shad especially, they love those bigger baits, and it's a way for him to maybe get that big bite that we know is so important.
Last fall, Ronnie, he had the Phoenix Boats Big Bass of the Elite event there in 8.6. Today, did not find the monster.
Not quite the day that he would hope, but it's keeping him in the game. Having a 5-fish limit on day one of an event is so important because you want to have 2 limits put together to try to make that top 48 cut, and that is what we're going to cut to this week after day 2.
What a former winner here, Ronnie.
2019, Jamie Harvin, the champion from that event. A little bit later in the year than this year. June or so was the time period when he won, later. But fish are a little bit shallower than this, and it took him a little while to get started. He said, man, I do not know what is going on this season. It is messing with me, and whatever is keeping me from doing well, it needs to get out of here. And he did have a good bite to try to kick that out of there with a 4-pounder flipping. And then he did go through a little bit of an offshore flurry, but it was not easy for Jamie the Hammer Hartman.
Boy, he proved comebacks are possible on Guntersville. Last guy into our championship final day at 10th place, caught him 23 pounds and won. Started a little trend of sorts. 2 other guys that followed suit, coming from 10th to 1st.
Makes sense why he probably is comfortable on Guntersville, living up in New York in the Finger Lakes region, winning also on Cayuga. Similar grass, clarity this week at least. He was excited just to get a limit. Stomping on. But he did have a good one to end his limit out. And he's going to stay close to that cut line for sure. Another champion, Such, from 2020, last fall here at Guntersville, Frank Talley.
Yeah, he was amazing last year. He went out on the final day, a couple pounds out of the lead, and stopped short on the spots, on an area that said, look good. And he caught a 5-pounder and kept fishing it. Call it by 9 a.m. and
smacked himself in the face a couple
didn't know
times.
who he was.
Good to go. But
won his first at 45 years old.
Frank Talley had some flipping bites today, also some vibrating jigs, some bladed jig bites as well, right at the boat like this one. But Frank, a renewed sense of confidence in his ability, and it is paying off. Carl Jacobsen, someone who got really his start in busting out on the scene for the Elite Series here at Guntersville way back in 2015, but Such got a pretty good, solid finish track record here, 2019 and 2020, both in the top 20 at the final standings.
I remember contacting some Australians who stayed up all night to watch that first Bass Live with him, and they're excited. I'm sure they're up again, seeing that he's going to be was on camera today. And he had a slow start, though, Ronnie. As
far down as the 90s, one of the lowest weights for people who registered weights on Bass Track, but it took just a key change and 2 or 3 fish, and all of a sudden his day wasn't so bad after all.
This place is you get a flurry and you can get well in a hurry. Hey, that rhyme.
Flurry in a hurry. Carl Jacobsen goes from low in the standings and self-confidence a little bit low to, hey, there's hope, we can make this happen, and he did late in his day. You got to be
in the teens. You got to have your weight in the teens today. You can't win it on day one, but you can probably get close to losing.
Get behind the 8 ball for sure, and that's what Seth Fighter, our Angler of the Year leader, was worried about.
Let's go.
Very slow morning.
Oh, yeah.
Let's go.
2 or 3 key bites, a switch in location, Such, dedicating the rest of his time to this flipping pattern. And man, he started to catch a bunch of fish. Maybe he doesn't have top 15 weight.
Yes, sir. Come on.
He's feeling very confident being the Angler of the Year leader and how his day one went.
He's got to stay with Patrick Walters, who was 41 points behind, and he may head up north with, you know, a 40-point-plus lead, Ronnie. I don't know if it's game over, but it's advantage Fighter.
One thing that's for sure, as many final days as he has made and not missing a day 3 cut, if Fighter can do well on Friday, day 2 of this event, and make it into the top 48, he will at least leave here with the Angler of the Year lead most likely. So that is one key goal. Make the cut and trap your opponent out from getting points. The guy who struck it big over a year ago, the 2020 Classic champion, the 50th anniversary of it, Hank Cherry, taking that title.
Started with 29 pounds, 3 ounces on the first day of the Classic and kind of went on cruise control, had a great last day and got it rolling and won a Bassmaster Classic. A little redemption for him from years before when he lost a winning fish.
And then he had a struggle the rest of 2020 for the most part, put it together at the last few events of the season, especially the fall deal down south, made the Classic and double qualified for this year's Classic, and he has kicked off this season with a strong start in the top 20 in Angler of the Year as well, keeping it rolling.
How about a rookie, Ronnie?
A little bit of bonus coverage from our day 1. KJ Queen jumping into that Rookie of the Year lead unofficially through day 1 at Guntersville. We got to see a little bit of action from him in the North Carolina rookie. Coming from the College Series, the first Bethel angler to make the Elite Series, really showcasing his skill through 7 events on the season so far.
Now, he built one of the bigger bags. He's in our top 10, and he's just kind of caught him a nice 3+ all day long, right?
Really a sustained average for him. No real giant either. If he was to catch a 6-pounder, it would help his total out tremendously. Chris Johnston, he's in the fight for that Angler of the Year race as well. Plenty of points behind, but hey, we're going to go to a place he's won before. We're going to his neck of the woods. He would love to close that gap here this week, and really a strong start for him in the top 10 of this event.
It's our first Canadian ever to win an Elite. He's going to put himself in the mix for another one, Ronnie.
Him and his brother went up and made a trip after Neely Henry to Sturgeon Bay for a fishing a team tournament. Won it. Headed back to Guntersville, doing well, carrying that momentum. And the man of day 1, putting on a clinic. We got to see a little bit of it on bonus coverage. Caleb Kufal, the angler from Wisconsin. These Midwestern anglers really love Guntersville, the way the grass sets up and the way these largemouths set up with it.
2 5.5-pounders, Ronnie. A 5.0, 2 4/8 right now. I think he's got a little bit more than 25. He's had a great day.
And if you watch this later and you see the way the leaderboard stacked up, this was his unofficial tally. What he thought he had, 25 pounds. You will take that any and everywhere across the country, especially for an Elite Series event in Lake Guntersville. It showed its potential today. Maybe not a bunch of 20-pound bag suits, but the top-end weight did not disappoint. You can see the coverage all day long, Friday, 7:30 a.m. Eastern Time. We'll be live from 7:30 to 2:30 all day on Bassmaster.com.